Stop the press. I cannot believe my eyes. We started on time. I just want to give a hand to boys in the booth. Here we are in week 3, and we are on time. I mean, pretty much.
You know what? Pat Jordan was just telling all of you that we are on time. Pat's been taken out by the internet itself. It's a series of electrons going through a pipe. Oh, I was just telling people about the internet assassinated you.
Well, I tell you
you're back.
What's hysterical is your visual aids on assassination look like something totally different.
Electrons go through a pipe, and voltage is the cross section of the diameter of an electrical conduit. The amount of electrons in that plane expresses voltage. Now, voltage, as we know, is about raw power, Pat Jordan.
Well, speaking of raw power, thanks for joining us here at Alone Together Pittsburgh, Alone Together Streaming, Alone Together PGH, Together PGH on your internet browser for the homepage. We're streaming on YouTube as well as on Facebook. And if it's your first time joining us, welcome. I'm Patrick Jordan. This is Alexi Morrissey. We are here basically in reaction to everything that was going on with the coronavirus situation, with everything being shut down. And we tried to find a venue to keep everyone together. So what we're going to have on this show is everything from politicians to industry people, from artists, entertainers, musicians, actors, everything down the pipe that's been affected by this, and essentially showcasing you how people are adapting to what's been going on. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to keep a sense of community and kind of keep ourselves together and keep ourselves sane.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, one more thing.
Sorry about that.
It's okay, buddy. As far as there's a little ticker going on below mine and Alexi's faces. That is a Venmo at Together PGH. If you want to give some money to the Venmo for this show, the money is going to go to the artists involved, right? So we want to be able to have some form of payment for people doing their work. I'm a big fan of, paying artists to do things. And I know right now everybody's asking for money and everybody's, looking for ways to help. This is one small way. If you could hit this Venmo, we would appreciate it. So Alexi, how was your day, man?
Well, I did okay today. You know what I mean? I found out what calms my daughter down is getting her hair done and getting makeup on and wearing fur. And you would be surprised how many kids fake fur jackets out there, because she doesn't know the difference. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I would hope.
And I think as long as she just can focus on that. So we run around the house all day and she begs me for weapons training. And I said, hey, not until you survive the dark night in the forest, which is usually in our family age 7. And she has to make it back on her own. But, right now she's in the makeup phase with the death stares, because she told me this morning she didn't want me to die. And, as a dad, I have to keep it together during these 6 in the morning. I don't want you to die, Daddy. And I'm like, oh, Daddy's not going to die. Why don't you go downstairs and have breakfast? And she goes downstairs and I'm literally like, with a fucking pillow over my face, swear jar. So I'm embracing the fear of death so I can overcome the obstacles that get in the way of being a good parent. How about you, Pat? Have you seen anything on the internet? Like our votes?
What? Something that got votes?
Yeah, well, we have a little poll. We're going to do a poll.
It was surprising. I am dying to find out the total. Okay, so here's the deal, folks. What we're doing here on Alone Together Pittsburgh, what we want to do is, what's a better way to bring Pittsburghers together, or expats or expits? We have something going on right now called the Jag Off, okay? And that is, we are putting all things Pittsburgh against each other in a bracket-like challenge, all right? So there's Dave Mansueto here. He's going to give us a little bit of a rundown on what the Jag Off is all about. But I want some results. Last night, to give you guys some background, last night's was Bill Peduto's beard versus Franco Harris's beard. And I got to be honest with you, it was an upset. It was a shot heard around the world. It was Bill Peduto's beard. Tonight was something bigger, something more universal. Dave, tell us about it.
Flashdance versus Dawn of the Dead. I mean, how can you pick? How brutal a matching. It's unfair. And it got ugly, and it got fun, and then it got pretty. And I'm happy to report the results. You ready for this?
I'm dying to know. I'm dying to know.
Look at the text in the bottom of the screen. You ready for this?
I'm waiting. I'm still waiting.
Still waiting.
Whoa!
Oh my God! Flashdance by
Dawn of the Dead
by 2 votes.
It ain't fair.
Well, I mean, I think it's cool for the Flashdance fans. I don't think we should.
Well, apparently the Flashdance fans. Maybe it just goes to show what our audience base is more into.
We can't take on Flashdance. Elena will ban us, Pat.
Well, Elena, like I believe she probably would have voted for Flashdance, Lex. But I happen to know an actor that was in Flashdance, and his name was Larry John Myers. Had a small part. So you Pittsburgh actors out there. Larry John Myers was in Flashdance. If we get Flashdance over to the next round, maybe we'll bring Larry on, although he still has like a rotary dialed phone. I don't know if he's ready for this yet.
I want to give folks a preview. If you're looking at that graphic,
that's tonight. And Pat, so you grew up here. I'm gonna say the top one. Okay, go ahead, buddy.
Waterfront, and then you say versus
Century 3 Mall. Okay, that is the in-show vote that you can do right now live. It's on Instagram stories, it's on Twitter, and there's also another thing. You can hit it on our Facebook right now. You should be able to see the link. They will shoot it to you right now. If you are watching right now, by the end of tonight's show, which is only 1 hour long, hopefully, we will have your votes giving us in real time. It's like there's like the main course. There's like the varsity team that gets 24 hours. This one is for our people who are watching live only on the International Information Superhighway.
That's
Century 3 Mall, the waterfront. Now,
tonight only. During the show, lightning voting.
7 to 8. Get out there and vote right now. Tell your friends. Century 3 Mall versus the waterfront. Talk to me, Lex.
Pat, you know what this reminds me of?
What does this remind you of?
When we're not together on this show during the day, you're a dad, I'm a dad. You're out there fighting international crime syndicates. Oh, but what I always look forward to during our private time together, which isn't here anymore, now I have to ask you in person. Have you seen anything on the internet that grinds your gears?
Funny you should mention. Funny you should mention that. One thing has come up in this time of COVID-19 that it continues to grind my gears, and it's become a through line on this. And it's even why I'm okay with there being a logo with me having a little bit of a problem with something here. Okay, that is the park situation. Okay, we came in on Monday. We went crazy on Friday talking about people playing full court basketball, even though they're home from school, even though they're home from work, even though for whatever reason they felt the need to play 5-on-5 full court basketball. Also, the playground on all the city parks, even the one by my house, there were kids on top of kids following each other on the slide and everything. And I just kept freaking out about how you can take this seriously, right? How, I don't know if it's the news, if no one is taking this as seriously as they need to, if they haven't seen the headlines of the effects that this is having on everybody nationally or even globally right now, it being a global pandemic, and what it costs you. So I saw these pictures. We showed a picture that I thought, oh, look, progress. Someone had wrapped the jungle gym in caution tape. Okay, so we ran that picture up there. It was the right by my house. It was the jungle gym right there. And I thought, okay, cool. That was it. We also ran pictures of, they took down all the rims from the basketball hoops. It was like, this is why we can't have nice things, Pittsburgh, because we have to, we told you not to do it. Now we have to take them away from you, right? So I thought, okay, cool. Then I see this from Dan Gilman's Facebook page. Unfortunately, taping off the playgrounds wasn't stopping the usage enough. So crews had to go out and put up fencing to block the park equipment and took down the swings. Now, what grinds my gears about this specific thing, these are workers, right? That is not safe to go out there, right? It's not very safe for anyone to be out there. These guys are having to work. These guys aren't staying at home. These guys have to go out and work. And it's not exactly 100% safe. So now they have to go out there and they could be doing other things. that could be helping everyone in the community and doing other things in a direct response. But instead, they have to go and wrap fencing around the playground equipment that they've already wrapped fencing around. And that is what seriously kind of grinds my gears. I'll go with the brand of the of what they tag me on with the show there, right there. That drives me crazy, as if people don't realize what's going on, how sick people are, how this affects people's lives, what this is doing to you, what this is doing to your family. I have a cousin who is about to is about to come full term with her baby, and her husband is not allowed to be in the delivery room with her. I have other friends that are on ventilators right now. This is no joke, okay? So these little things kind of piss me off. So that's all I got. We're gonna have fun with the show tonight. That was my 2 cents. Lex, come on back. I want to ask you a question. Sorry about that, everybody. I got.
Hey, no,
I was going to be regular, and then I got a little heated.
Whoa! Everybody, I'm not sorry. I want that. I need that. Pat, I want you to tell everybody at home to get a pen and a piece of paper.
Everybody get a pen and a piece of paper, because Lexi has something for you to tell you.
Thanks. Listen, we're gonna right now. I'm gonna talk about my last trip out, and maybe you can think about your last trip out. Okay, so my last trip out was Thursday, March 26th. So I'm gonna think about that, and I'm gonna get my pen and piece of paper, and I'm gonna write down the places I went, the people I saw, their phone numbers, and the addresses. So let me just knock this out real quick. Shazam! I'm an artist. Doesn't take long. All right, so Thursday, March 26th, I went to my art studio. I got a bunch of tools, a bunch of coffee stuff, some safety gear. Didn't mess around, wasn't making art. In my studio, I ran into 2 people. Those are their initials. And right here, I'm going to write their phone numbers down. And over here, I'm going to write the addresses of this place. And then I had to go to my apartment. I had to pack up just some emergency stuff, my food, stuff that I needed to move into the house with my kids. And then I went to Restaurant Depot. And at my apartment, I ran into Putty. So I got her number down there. So I saw 3 people within a safe 6-foot distance, but I saw them nonetheless. They weren't strangers. They're known to me. And then I went to Restaurant Depot, and I went solo. So these are the 3 places that I went. And there's the phone numbers and the names of those people and the addresses. Now, is everyone done at home with their last trip out? That's good. That's good. Because what we just did is called contact tracing. And you're going to hear way more about this in the news. And you're hearing it first from me. You might have already known what it is. Dr. Fauci talks about it, a famous health expert working for the United States government. Now, contact tracing is something that's going to be the reality of every single person in Pittsburgh very soon. And contact tracing is recommended by the World Health Organization and the CDC and all the doctors. A contact tracing interview will be conducted with you and your loved ones if you test positive. So we're going to encourage everyone now to start writing down their last trip out and think about where you go from there. We're going to have experts on this show to talk about contact tracing. Contact tracing follows testing. Now, we don't have a lot of testing in Pittsburgh, but that doesn't mean we can't work together as Pittsburgh citizens to make these very simple lists. Where did you go? Who did you see? What day and what time? Because I will tell you, this information is going to save lives. Yeah, it's dark. You will get a contact tracing interview after you test positive. I don't want to think about that. You don't want to think about that. But this is something we can do. You don't need to be a doctor to write this down. You don't need permission to write this down. You can go into yourself and face your fear and write these things down. You can prepare a contact tracing daily diary from here on out. Try to do the best you can for the last couple of weeks. My name is Alexi Morrissey, and we'll hear more about this. Right now, we want to bring Pat Jordan on. Let's kick off the show.
What's up, everybody? We got a great show for you tonight. It's actually an action-packed lineup. We've got Gisele Fetterman, Jennifer Barron. We've got Paul Luke. We've got the PinUp Couriers. We've got Matt's here. It's gonna be a hell of a show here ahead of us. Before we bring out Gisele, I just want to talk about one little thing, a little minor PSA thing to think about while you guys are out there. Right? There's a lot going on right now in the world. There is this is not a normal time for people, right? Okay, so you're sheltering in place in your house. Okay, we're going on to week 3 of that in the Pittsburgh area, right? It can be taxing. It can get to you. It can screw with your head without you realizing it, right? But what I want to remind everybody is, it's like if you were on a bad trip or something, and someone were to say to you, "You're on a drug," okay? There are scary things happening in the world. You might not even realize it. Okay, so take a moment, right, to the people that you're cohabitating with, the people that are in your family, your loved ones. Just take a moment and breathe before you guys start arguing, a fight, or things like that happening. Just take a moment and relax. It's happening to everybody. It's going into everybody's. It's in whether you realize it or not. If you can, go outside, get some sun, stay away from people, breathe a little bit. Don't do anything drastic, and just remember that this is like you are on a drug here right now. This is not normal, and we aren't even halfway through this on the bright side. So just take a minute. People, I mean, if you can, I mean, obviously, there are people, like, you forget, you're not going out into civilization. You haven't brushed your teeth, maybe. You're not changing your clothes. All of these things, take a minute. Take it to yourself. Get cleaned up. If it's just you and your husband or wife or your partner or whatever that's in there, make dinner. Get dressed up. Use plates like Hal Klein told us. Put your food on an actual plate. Don't eat out of a to-go container. Just try to find some kind of normalcy. And we are going to get through this, hopefully. And just remember to love each other. And I'm sorry for the hippie PSA, but we're going to get through this. So.
Whoa, no. I gotta say, I needed to hear that, man.
Well, all right, man. I'm glad. I mean, I think I needed to say it. It's just I've been hearing.
I just want to say thank you, man.
Sure.
Look, we're gonna get right into it.
Yeah. Okay.
I just need to say I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
All right, let's go.
All right. So now to the show, Alone Together Streaming. I would love to just jump right in and bring out our first guest, who happens to be the second lady of the state of Pennsylvania, Gisele Fetterman. Can we have her on? Is she here with us right now? I'm very excited. Hey, G. What's going on? So nice to see you.
It's so nice to see you.
This is crazy. I would see Gisele all the time, and now I haven't seen her in forever here. So this is really great. Thank you for coming on. Gisele wears 6 million hats. If you don't know who she is, I'm shocked. Gisele has everything. Is just like when I talk about the Fred Rogers helpers out there. Gisele is one of the first people that comes to mind. Gisele has the Free Store and Braddock and 6 million other initiatives. We could devote an entire week of shows to just Gisele, but we only have a few minutes with her right now. So thank you. I know you're busy. So Gisele, just to start off, how are you and the family handling the sheltering in place and everything that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to be creative. I'm ADHD, so that alone, being inside, is rough for me, for my mind. But we are confined with 3 small children.
3 active small children.
So, at home here, for them, they've been kept pretty normal. They're not freaking out. I learned ways to talk to them about what's happening. And, we're doing a lot of crafts. Oh gosh, we've done everything from resin. We've made pillows and scarves, and I try to comfort them in knowing that we're all going through this, right? There is some comfort in knowing that my family in Brazil, to my best friends in New York, to my community here, we're all experiencing this at the same time, and it's not a positive experience, right? But we are going through this together, so there is some comfort in keeping that in mind.
Well, I know you've got a bunch of initiatives going on right now, and we're going to get through most of them, but or all of them if you want. But I know the census. I know I've been following you on social media, and the census is what you're really wanting to talk about right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a few things, but the census is something that's, again, so important. I know we're home, we're looking for things to do. This is the first time in the history of the census that it's available online. It's very fast to do, and it's something that's going to impact, again, like the coronavirus is impacting every single one of us. The census will as well, and it will more than ever. It's going to impact food stamps and housing, the roads we drive on, and all of those things seem much more urgent now, given what's happening in the country and in the world. So it's something that it doesn't matter where you live in Pennsylvania. It doesn't matter your immigration status, what languages you speak, what you do for a living. If you live in Pennsylvania, you matter. And it's about $2,100 a person per year for 10 years. And that number is locked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's money that we're all going to need to be able to get back to normal.
Right. And we'll put the link up later for the census. But yeah, that's absolutely true. And please don't take it lightly. The other thing is with census workers, I mean, fill it out online, mail it in, do what you need to do. Don't make census workers have to come to your house,
Right.
like especially right now. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, right. So let's take care of this as best as we can. So another thing, Food for Good, PGH.org. You were talking to me earlier about something that you have coming on that's not the obvious thing.
Right. Yeah. So the free store being closed, right? We had to close like so many other businesses and nonprofits. We had to be creative. How can we continue to respond to the need? Because the need has only increased, right? The reason we existed, that need continues to increase, and we're not able to be out there. So we've been really creative where we've done porch drop-offs. We've safely delivered food and toys and books to local families. We know it's hard to be at home. How can we support you be at home with your children?
Mm-hmm.
So we drop off a boatload of toys on porches. We're also doing a Narcan distribution. So
Wow.
you are quarantined with a family member or a loved one that's at high risk. You can send us an email. We would deliver Narcan to your home so that we can save their life. And tomorrow we're receiving somewhere near 48,000 pounds of dog and cat food. And we're going to be distributing that next week because, you have folks that are struggling to feed themselves and they're thinking, I'm going to feed my dog, and not eat because they have to control their money and really limit it. So we're trying to look at all the ways we can continue to support families creatively from a safe distance.
That's amazing. I mean, that's great because I wouldn't, I haven't had a pet for a couple of years, and this is the first time when you mentioned that to me, I went, oh my God, of course.
And it's so expensive. And PART, it's an amazing organization. That's who we're working with.
And who is that again, Gisele? I'm sorry.
It's the Pittsburgh Aviation Animal Rescue Farm.
Gotcha.
Rescue team, I'm sorry. And they have the plane, and they're the ones that go all over the state and to other states rescuing dogs and cats and bunnies and all this cute stuff. So, their efforts have been on hold as well because of everything that's going on. So PART is coming out tomorrow with a truckload, and all our muscles are going to be at use, unloading all this food so we can get it into homes.
That's amazing. And you had mentioned this before about getting things to people safely. I mean, that's something that I know that you were way ahead of the curve on, and just making sure that people aren't, congregating and massing to one place and could not even knowingly spread this thing around. But you guys have taken
intentions, right? I know there's good intentions, but to announce that there's a giveaway, a food distribution, you call it, you name it, and to have 400 people show up at a location where they're not protected, they're on top of each other, you're doing a lot more harm than good. And it's important to keep that in mind. Every way that we walk into the world now has changed, and we have to keep aware of that at all times.
I agree.
I'm just sitting here listening, to like the hits. I feel like I'm in some 70s commercial, like, ladies and gentlemen, the coronavirus hits. It's like, I don't even have a question. I just want to reflect back to you that I am witnessing just the organizational power of that you are bringing to this, just our platform, just talking about all the people. And we're going to make sure that we double back with you and get all your links out to our viewers, so you don't have to worry about that. And I just think it's like you're talking like a color wheel. Like, you have people who are struggling with drugs, and then there are people who love their pets, and you're like, I got you. You do drugs? I got you. You got a dog? I got you. You're like, you are home with your kids? I got you. Like, you are amazing.
I wish I could hug you, Alexa.
After this is all over, I am going to run around Pittsburgh in a plushie costume and just hug everybody. I'm gonna get sponsored by a sandwich company and a coffee company, and they're just gonna track me, Alexi Morrissey going through Swissvale, and you're like, let's go, kids. I swear to God, I just...
That alone emotionally, that's really hard. I mean, like, hugging is my DNA. It's in my bio.
Oh.
You know, it's truly a part of my life. And this lack of human affection and interaction, it really can get in your mind. And, you know, I've been putting out the link to the crisis text line. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, I've only got 3 people in my life I can hug. I'm isolating with my 2 children and my ex-wife, and... 2 out of 3 ain't bad, you know what I mean?
I just touched my face, which I'm not supposed to do.
But yeah,
Gisele gets me. Gisele gets me.
And, you know, as long as we continue to all do the best we can, we're gonna make it out.
Yeah, I agree. And Gisele, thank you so much. We could talk to you. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we had to say goodbye for now, or are you frozen?
I think Gisele is frozen. Okay,
well, Gisele, if you can hear me, you're frozen. We love you, and thank you so much for coming on the show, and we hope to have you back soon.
Thanks, Gisele. That was now. How do you say that? Second lady?
Yeah. Well, she loves to use the term slop, the second lady of Pennsylvania. But
nobody self-deprecates like her, except maybe Conan O'Brien. Like her self-deprecation.
But Conan O'Brien's banned.
Oh yeah,
and not Gisele.
Yeah.
But I will say one other thing. Gisele was, like, when I said she's ahead of the curve on these things, she was ahead of the curve on a lot of things. A lot of things that people are almost taking for granted right now, Gisele actually started, and a lot of that amassed at the free store. But there's a million other initiatives that she's been involved with. So follow what she's doing, and you know, and there's the my2020census.gov. Check that out. And if you want to help volunteer with what the efforts that they're doing, or if you need help from the free store and everything that Gisele's doing, www.foodforgoodpgh.org.
And we'll obviously have Gisele back on again, Pat, because she's never stopping, and she's just going to have more initiatives. But we got to get to our next guest.
I think it's time.
I want you to introduce the Red Baron of Pittsburgh.
the Red Baron of Pittsburgh, Jennifer Baron. Jennifer is in also has is in a lot of different things. There she is.
Yeah. Jenny.
Jenny or Jennifer?
Jenny or Jenny from the block?
Yes, that's good. 8675309. Yep.
Jenny, we're going to talk about the next Pittsburgh, Handmade Arcade, Garment District.
Great.
You're all around here. But so I'm just going to ask you the same kind of question to start off that we're asking everybody. How are you personally dealing with this? And then we can get to professionally afterwards.
Well, it's so much more than a 10-minute answer. And I just I want to thank you for inviting me to be with you. It's so wonderful to see your beautiful faces and hear your voices. It's so important. A lot of what you said, Patrick, resonates with me and Gisele. I'm Croatian. I'm a Leo. I'm a summer girl. I'm a beach girl. It's a lot of people talk about how introverted people are just embracing the time at home and the downtime. I love my downtime when I get to choose it and schedule it. Mm-hmm. But I'm a hugger. I need people. And, so I think if you ask that question, probably with everyone, every 10 minutes, your answer would change. It's like your mood is constantly changing. I'm already used to working from home for the most part, but of course, sorry, I keep seeing your face there.
We're good.
Yeah, I love seeing your faces. So I'm used to working from home. Now I'm co-working with my husband, Greg, who's director of marketing at the Frick Pittsburgh. So of course, we're both working from home and self-isolating completely. We're raising our new puppy. He's 9 months old. So I know. He's Casper, and he is in the room with us, just resting in his crate.
Casper in the crate, in the crate,
Casper,
in the crate.
He's a black lab, so you can't really see him there. But it's true that there are shortages and delays on pet products, pet foods, pet medicines. Earlier this week, when we had to take him to get his Lyme vaccine because it's a booster, so we had already done part 1. So part 2, you have to follow through, and that's another disease that's jumping from animals to humans. It's relevant to this conversation with all these viruses, which are jumping from animals to humans, which is the reality. And so they just did that in the parking lot. I took like his 15-foot leash, and he went running toward them and rolled on his back. They gave him the shot. He came. I mean, like Gisele was saying, everything you do, every move we make in space, we have to think about like our bodies in space. That's what I'm thinking about a lot. Not that we don't, but we're energy, we're mass, we're organisms. You know, we're like, we have all of those changes, cells that change every 7-8 years. But now it's like we have to constantly think about everything we do and be very responsible about it. Right. I for a while, I've been feeling worried that everyone's on a different page with interpreting what social distancing means. So there are a million answers to the question of how we're doing.
That was great.
I think
hey,
that
look,
was
come on.
I made a signature cocktail, well, just my stay-at-home cocktail with my vintage KDKA rainbow. I don't know.
I remember that cup.
Oh, we lost Jen.
She's going to come back.
She's coming back.
But I'm going to just pause here for a second. I remember that cup. I saw it for a second before I pulled it off. That was before your time in Pittsburgh, Lex. But,
Jen reminds me of a person that has existed throughout time, which is the cool person that you love.
KDKA. Wait, there we go. Pittsburgh, someplace special.
That's amazing. Like you are so on point right now. I just got to tell you, like I want to shower you with compliments right now because I'm just telling you, you're amazing,
right back
and
at
on
you.
point, and like you. I just feel like you. Jen knows I live in a matriarchy, so like when I see Jen, I think my world is held together by like people who are way more together than me.
No.
We're
together. We're all together. Look,
we're alone together, Pittsburgh.
I'm together, but when you just like pan to the dog crate and pan back, and I'm like, she's got the camera skills, she's got the cup. Like I genuinely adore the idea of you and both of you.
Well, I hope I hope I come through in flesh. Right. The idea in the flesh do you see who this is? This is subliminal advertising.
Is that Bernie with a poinsettia or some form of flower? It's moving. It's on the internet.
Okay.
So Jen, jump in and put on your business hat.
So next Pittsburgh, you guys are really we've been looking at while we're waiting for Jen to pop back in here with us. We've been looking to Next Pittsburgh as a resource.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why that keeps happening. I've got my Chrome.
Because
Alexi complimented me. Now it's all gonna go to shit.
That's what broke the internet. Alexi complimenting you. But
okay, God damn it, Jen, get to the business. Next Pittsburgh, what's going on?
At Next Pittsburgh, we've been using that as a resource in my house, but also on the show here. We've been seeing a lot of things. We've been sharing a lot of the links from that. Just to talk about content and finding people to have on our show. Great. So what I wanted to do is talk to you a little bit about the things that you're doing in Next Pittsburgh, and if there's any resources or any places you can tell everybody at home to get into. Yeah.
So I actually am the events editor. So on that day, Friday the 13th, I mean, I kind of knew weeks ago this was going to happen, but after first the colleges and the universities, it was like this rollout of this slowdown of like society just shutting down in a way. But not everything, of course. So I preview events. I'm doing my events roundups now, focusing on virtual events, things such as exactly what you're doing. How are people coming together? How can you still take advantage of our amazing arts community? nonprofit events, workshops, webinars. So that's in the event section. Compile and still doing that every week and every weekend for remote and virtual events that are locally based. We have some wonderful resources both on where people can go for help. We can post those links and I can send them to you. That is a partnership between Next Pittsburgh, Public Source, the Incline, and Pittsburgh City Paper. This is an evolving, living document, and it's broken up into different sections. For example, housing help, rent help, small business loans, what the URA is doing, who is giving flexibility. So housing, food, right? Human services, food and shelter, a lot of the different GoFundMe campaigns, fundraising emergency funds for artists, like what GPAC is doing. So we've got that document. Every week we're adding to it. So it's where you can go for help, but then we also have how you can help. If you're in a position to help, if you're in a position to donate, volunteer. So those are both things that I can post the links, and I hope that you would be able to share those if you haven't already. We have Christy Laughlin, who's writing a lot about our food and drink scene, which is, as you both know well, is an incredible part of our community. So you can, and if you want to have her on, I can suggest her. As far as who is still operating their takeout, curbside pickup, and that is changing constantly. It's like, as far as fact checking, we've never, I mean, of course we had to pivot instantly to cover what things are happening in the city. Just today, you probably saw about the potential vaccine being developed at Pitt. That's like a Band-Aid with the small needles. That's just like a patch filled with needles that could potentially become a vaccine in 18 months. Of course, it would probably take, I mean, we all know it would take over a year, right? I don't know how far, there's an article on that. So, so we're continuing to cover all of those different topics. And so I would definitely point people into the direction of those resources, because we're updating those constantly. We also do have a job section that I curate. There are companies hiring. So there's a whole range of tech, service industry, nonprofits. These are all current listings, and a lot of companies are doing remote interviews, video interviews, which is pretty common anyway. So I think everyone is instantly having to get used to this world of communicating and participating and engaging in the world around them, that may become more of our permanent life. And it's, don't you think? I mean,
totally. Not even maybe.
You guys were like instant. I know I was including something. It was like within like seconds of every event being, it was like you were saying, are we on a drug? I heard you saying that before. We're in a dream. This doesn't feel real. You wake up, those first 3 seconds, you don't remember that it's real. It's like when you lose someone so close to you, but every day, like you're grieving or something.
And you lose someone close to you, and you're still picking up the phone to make a phone call.
And it keeps like repeating. Like there's films about this where you experience it over and over.
I mean, it's just like, my favorite sci-fi film is La Jetée, which is made entirely of photographs. And it's French, and it's a time travel film, and that it's just all photographs. There's soundtrack and sound, so you have this idea of time and movement, and it was of course turned into 12 Monkeys with Brad Pitt. So
that's right. Okay.
And so I feel right now my touchstone is some of these cinematic fictional masterpieces. And I can go back into I'm rereading a lot of William Gibson. There's so much Huxley. I mean, oh my God. Absolutely. And also, but the thing is that like, only because I need a rhetorical framework to deal with reality. And I think Pat at the top of the show is PSA. He so eloquently stated, which I'm still processing, by the way, which is like Pat's rhetorical framework. His metaphor was like, pretend you're in a drug. Know that this will be pass. But while you're in this state, be extra conscious that actions and reactions and micro cues, and the thing is that like, I just want to say, I appreciate your compliment about us being right off the bat, but as you know, behind these two faces are two other guys, and behind those two guys are the things that kicked it off in our community and other people.
Absolutely.
We've talked about 25 karat. So like
Absolutely.
a rising tide lifts all boats.
And
we just happen to be the first boat off the shore into the ocean.
And it's what you all do. I mean, I was thinking of this exercise, like, let's all think about the last place we were where we truly physically socialize with people, hugging, kissing, sharing drinks. Like, I wanted to document, like, I remember I was at my friend Corey's show, who plays in my band. I was at Mr. Small's Funhouse. I ran into Paul Labrise. We hugged goodbye. I'm thinking, like, the very last people who it's not even my family. I'm worried about my parents. I'm worried about my brother in Vermont. I'm worried about my brother in Boston. It's like, and I'm like the oldest. I'm the only girl, firstborn, that Generation X, latchkey, as they all say. Like, if someone says to me, like, you have to stay home for 2 months, I will follow the rule. I will, even though I don't like authority. We can. This is beyond authority. Like, those who can do it need to do it. Right. Like, we have to be there for other people. It's like we are, it's not cliche. We're so connected. We're organisms. That's all we are. Right. And well, hey, but thank you so much for coming on here.
Can you come back again?
Love to.
Okay.
We were hoping to have you come back maybe on a regular if you have the time, because like they said, this is changing so much and you guys have your fingers on the pulse. Before we say goodbye, I just want somebody had a question for you online. They said they want to know where to go with extra pet meds, if you know anyone who's taking donations for extra pet meds. Oh, they have donations. They have pet meds. I think they lost their dog. That's a great question. And they have a backlog. I would ask Gisele, also call their vet, call Hello Bully, because Hello Bully rescue groups. I mean, I'll think about some ideas and I can send you. But I did want to say, I made a playlist for you guys for the show. Oh, right. I emailed it to the Alone Together, because I know I didn't get to talk about my music or Handmade Arcade, and I'd love to come back and talk about what we're doing. I would love to do that. Let's have you back.
And I blame myself because I wanted to empath out with you.
We need to do the emotional, psychological stuff first. So, but I did make you a playlist, so feel free to share it. And I love you guys. Love to hear it. Thank you. We love you. Kiss the kids, Eileen, Pepper, everyone. I definitely will. I will. We'll see you next week, hopefully. All right. That'd be great. Okay. Take care.
Thank
you, Jen. Okay, so that's awesome. We are getting knowledge bombs dropped on us here.
She's amazing.
She is. So I've got something to get back on track here. If you're just tuning in, we are Alone Together Pittsburgh, Alone Together PGH, togetherpgh.com. We are streaming on Facebook and YouTube, and however you're seeing us, that's how we're streaming. Venmo. We have a Venmo that's going to be rolling across the screen. Please hit this Venmo. The money will go directly to the guests that are helping us, that are performing with us today and talking with us today. We're trying to pay everything forward as best as we can. We also have a bunch of people that are chiming in. We just want to say hi. Hi to Dave, Nancy. A lot of people are chattering.
Suze Bazzano and Tim Bazzano.
So the Bazzanos are here. So we've got something going on here to show you right now. It looks like there is voting happening for the Waterfront versus Century 3 Mall, and it is a bloodbath. It is looking like a bloodbath right now. No one is voting for Century 3 Mall. Maybe I should sing the Century 3 Chevrolet, Lebanon, Church Road, Pittsburgh. Maybe if the mall was still open, it would be different. But okay, so the Waterfront is doing right now. We have a thing. The Jag Off is going on. We have a long one and we have a short one. This is our in-show one that only the viewers watching live can vote on. It is Century 3 Mall versus the Waterfront. Last night was bike lanes versus food trucks.
And our poll, if we want to bring our poll back, Dave Mansueto, real quick. Real quick, Dave. Our poll is brought to you by Pantone Cornflower Blue. Pantone, the scientifically engineered colors that are actually numbers. Those numbers correlate to a color. What came first? Pantone. When you need an exact color sent across the internet and to come back right by somebody who's colorblind. Pantone. In times of war, depend on the numbers.
Well, all right. Well, now you got that going on. You got the vote going on. We had a bomb drop that earlier on our big dog, our big boy, our varsity show, which was that the Flashdance beat Dawn of the Dead. Could not believe it. But you know, we try to have a different performer on the show every night. I just kind of want to roll to that because we might have talked a little long with everybody that's been on the show. That's been so awesome. I want to bring out, if you can join us, Paul Luke. Is coming, the singer-songwriter, is Polish Hill resident, born from Pittsburgh. regularly played on DVE, YEP, and a guest on the Randy Bowman Rambles.
There we go.
Is he here? Is he with us?
I think so.
There you are. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Enjoying the show.
I was hoping maybe if you want to talk, play a song for us, then maybe talk about it on the other side, or would you rather talk first? This is free form here.
Let's chat.
Okay, let's chat. So how are you holding up with this?
I mean, we're holding up pretty well. So we're kind of, hunkered down here in Polish Hill and not headed out too much, but looking forward to a little sunlight and, maybe get in the backyard, but kind of doing our part and just staying out of sight and, going to use the time wisely.
Have you been, go on. I was going to say, have you been doing any streaming performances or anything? Or?
I haven't yet. So this is my debut.
Okay, well,
we're saving it for this show.
Well, I can't believe we're breaking you in.
I had a lot of friends out there on the road. I mean, some literally as far as even California who were, expecting tours. And so I've kind of just been supporting friends and watching their streaming. And, behind the scenes, I was kind of starting to work on a record, which we've obviously taken a break on. But I was in a pretty good position where I was kind of headed in to do some work anyways in the studio and here at home. So I've just been kind of, laying low and doing my own little personal
trying to make the best of a bad situation.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many people who have to go through it every day and have to go, work on the front lines, who have to, whether that's the hospital, whether that's the grocery store. The one thing that I don't want to do is look back at this time and say I wasted it on Netflix. I think that's kind of just disrespectful to the people who are out there doing it every day. So, we're trying to use the time wisely, whether that's, enhancing our own minds with, reading or writing songs or whatever it might be. Even if it's just a project around the house, we're just trying to kind of use the time wisely and not waste it. I have a friend who keeps saying, when I talk to him, it's like he's looking at it, obviously trying to put a positive spin on it, but we're just kind of hitting reset.
Right.
And I think to some degree that's going to let us put things in perspective in terms of what's important to us, right?
I hope so, man.
You guys have been saying you're quarantined at home with kids and with family and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's going to, I think, recenter some of that stuff for all of us. It's doing that for me. So
I hope there's a silver lining to this all.
There will be, man.
Yeah.
I think a couple things. People are going to realize kind of on a negative side how easy the fabric tears in society, how quickly things can break down. But I think the positive side of this is everybody's going to realize and find out there's a lot of people who sew. So they're going to see all these people, like just everybody coming forward and saying, the fabric's torn, but there's a bunch of helpers. There's a lot of people who can sew this thing back together. And that might just mean you doing your part, staying at home. That might mean you're a doctor and you're at the hospital, but we're going to pull together.
Right.
I feel very positive about it.
So is there a way that people can get a hold of your work?
Pretty much anywhere that they consume their music. Yeah. Right. So we're out there.
And then we've got paulluke.com right there as well.
Yep.
So I tell you what, man, if you wouldn't mind, we would love to hear a song.
Get unplug and see how this
works.
Cool. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's try it this way. Cut me up into tiny abstractions, the worst little fractions of who I am from time to time. Pour me out, it's been pure distillation, a long meditation upon the one for whom I pine. All because I'm 6 drinks into the night. It feels good, it must be right. It feels good, it must be right. Roll me up and say that I'm your medication. I'm just a brief vacation from the doldrums of your life. 'Cause you exhale me out to the horizon, I rub my bloodshot eyes, watch you disappear into the night. All because I got higher than a kite. Feels good, oh, it must be alright. 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 Oh, it feels good, but it must be alright. You can take my hand, just don't expect a love song. We've been slow dancing too long for you to not make up your mind. There you go.
Right. This is when the crowd the ovation would be legendary.
It'd be deafening, right?
It would be deafening.
You got the voice of an angel, mate.
Yeah, I don't have a KDKA glass, but I got my Fox glass. So.
It works, man.
Dude,
It works.
man.
It gets the job done.
Yeah, exactly.
Paul, thank you so much,
yeah,
man.
thanks for having me.
That was super awesome. I just want to say thank you. It's
Yeah.
always,
Thanks
it's
for
always
joining.
nice to hear a true troubadour ply his craft, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, man.
Appreciate that. I will be here writing some new songs for when we can get out there and do it in person. So.
Well, you need to come back, brother. Can you come back on the show? Check back in.
Here, yeah. Let's check back in, see what's going on.
All right, Paul Luke with a positive message, everybody, and we're gonna come talk to him again, and then
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, thank you.
Pat, why don't you introduce our next guest, and you take it away with them, my brother.
I will take it away with them. But in the meantime, there is a Venmo link going across the bottom of the screen, and I want to remind our viewers, if you want to just give $1, it's like a tip, a couple bucks here or there. It all adds up, and all the money that is raised off of that Venmo will go to the artists like Paul Luke that was just on the show here right now. A lot of people are out of work. I know that I know basically we're not able to, float anyone. There's no one's going to retire off of what we get from this show, but every little bit helps for everybody. So if you can do, if not, just keep watching. Tell your friends about this. Share it. We're Alone Together Pittsburgh streaming. We got some our next guests are coming up right now, and it would be from PinUp Couriers. Dave, can we bring them in? It was almost in. Whoa, wait. Well, PinUp Couriers was that Lex?
No, I'm just saying I'm texting with our tech guys, and I'm just trying to see what we can do here. I think we're gonna get them back because if I know the internet, it likes to tease, but then it will display its true glory. Oh, Pete Spinda, producer behind the scenes.
Pete, I was going to talk about the bicycle-powered female-owned poster company. That is.
There we go. There's Megan.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Great. Hi, Megan.
Is Danny coming in too?
We saw Danny for a second. So I think Danny's doing a reboot right now and will be joining us momentarily. But for right now, I'm Patrick. Nice to see you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So tell me about PinUp Couriers.
We're a local bike-based distribution service.
Mm-hmm.
We work as a cooperative. It's totally horizontal. And yeah, we just work with different arts and cultural organizations and hang up their posters at different businesses.
So all those posters, you guys are like the middleman. You guys are helping out the artists get those things up on the wall.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So obviously you guys are probably pretty rocked or affected by everything being shut down and there being no events or you being able to put things up. So
It's crazy once you like really see how connected everything is. I mean, we can't gather in large groups, so we don't have anything to promote. And even if we did, there'd be nowhere to put the stuff.
So what are you guys doing in the meantime? I mean, it's just me again. Shucks. So anyway, the flyering thing, this PinUp girls being on the show here tonight, I think is really, it's important to also, there we go. I was going to talk about it's important for them to be here, showing about the ecosystem and how many people are affected by this that you may not realize the type of businesses. Everyone, when a restaurant closes.
We got Danny coming in.
Danny. Oh, wait, do we?
No, that's Megan. We lost Danny again.
Oh no! I wonder if we're having a hard time both connecting because we're both using
that's it.
PinUp's email.
Oh, okay. You guys aren't in the same place.
That's the problem. You can't both be logged in on probably the same name.
Oh, no.
Okay. We're working this out as we go.
We could just interchange as we go. Dave's talking to me in one ear. You guys.
Okay, so let me know. So how are you? What are the next steps that you guys are taking right now? How are you making the ends meet? What are you doing right now? Is anything going on?
Yeah, we're just luckily we have some back end work to do, just some like business stuff to figure out. But in terms of trying to bring in income right now, we are offering sort of like a prepayment deal for future jobs. So people can contact us just how they normally would, and we're giving 25% off to their future distributions. We also have merch right now. I'm wearing our sweatshirt.
Nice. I like it.
We made these hoodies and t-shirts, and they're gonna also be available. I mean, they're available to order now, but we get our stuff printed from Commonwealth Press, and they are not working right now, of course. So it's going to be, kind of like a delayed thing.
So what's the best way to contact if people are going to like preload? I mean, it's essentially like buying a gift card if you're buying your stuff in advance for you guys. I think it's great that you're offering that. Where can people find you? PinUpCouriers.com?
PinUpCouriers.com.
Boom.
I'm pretty sure. And now I'm like, oh no.
I can't see your phone.
Yeah.
I have a relay message. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, or just pinupcouriers@gmail.com. That's how we can be reached in terms of email. Can't believe I don't know our website.
It's all right. It's all good.
So I'm relaying a message from Danny right here since we couldn't had some technical difficulties. She says that PinUp misses all the artists and the nonprofits they work with, and local businesses they do distributions to, and it's a symbiotic relationship. And to not rush to try to get this message in by showing you guys my phone. So I've been using PinUp for a long time. It's a great service. So thank you guys for all your hard work.
Yeah, thanks for working with us.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And if you got anything else that comes up along the way, in the next, hopefully this is over soon, but as long as we keep doing the show, shoot an email to Pete or something, and we'll try to update some people on what's going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya. Thank you.
So we're working out the kinks, okay? Last night, apparently, I was a cross between Max Headroom and just a mute button. So it's pixelation, if you will, Pete. Anything else for me? I just want to take a moment to keep on talking to some people who, hey, Lex, what's going on?
Hey, I want you to do what you want to do, and then I'm going to do what I want to do, and then that is the magic.
And the tween shall meet. We had Kit Muller, Nathan Conrad, Amanda is back again, Nancy. We've got a bunch of people that are chiming in here saying what's up to us. Everybody, thank you for joining us right now. It feels good to be alone together with you all.
And
so go ahead.
I would say Jennifer Schweitzer says that she's going to DM us on Insta or maybe the PinUps to learn more about your pre-offer. So we got one person already ready to pony up.
I love it. I also saw a comment from Gina Mungo, who is my favorite person to comment so far. Her observations are quite astute. I believe this was probably when I was doing the grind my gears segment. She said, have you suggested they get off your lawn?
Yeah, well, she's sass wrapped in brass. That's Gina Mungo. So
eventually we're going to have her on. She keeps commenting. I'm just saying. So anyway, we've still got a lot of show left, Lex.
We're gonna let the tech guys do their magic. As soon as our next guest appears, we'll just start. But until that happens, why don't we talk about something that might? Oh my God! Like it's magic. You just say something and it happens. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the show Matt Parmalee from Redstart Roasters, the only bird certified coffee in how many areas?
Tri-state area currently.
So Matt, take us back to the early roasting days, the pre-COVID roasting days, and the bird-friendly stuff, and then we'll get into the deliveries after that. But just give me briefly the Matt history. Bam.
So we started back in March 2017 here in Brighton Heights, next door to you, and
and then I left.
Yeah, and then you left, and things started going better. We're a bird-friendly coffee roaster. Bird-friendly is a coffee certification, not unlike Rainforest Alliance or Fair Trade Organic. It basically is it's defined by the Smithsonian Institute, and it guarantees growing practices that minimize deforestation and maximize like local biodiversity. So sort of the whole supply chain is just spruced up quite a bit. And so we think it's like a certification we're supporting.
Wow. Okay. So, and you started with a little roaster in your garage, just like the Beach Boys, and now you have you're certified by the Allegheny County Health Department, and you have your own separate business location with a giant. How many pounds does that roaster can do?
So it's a 15 kilo roaster, so about 33 pounds. But we generally do smaller batches than that.
Woo. That's amazing.
So how are you holding up with everything going on with the coronavirus and everything shutting down? And
I mean, obviously things aren't as good. We managed to pretty quickly shift operations. The hard part has been just like supporting our wholesale accounts, most of whom are no longer open at the moment, and just making sure they're okay and they still have what they need and they're, getting things. But beyond that, we've just shifted more towards our online store as well as local deliveries, stuff like that.
So you're doing local deliveries? So
yeah, we announced a couple weeks ago we are waiving all shipping fees for Pittsburgh zip codes. So it's automatic. Like it's just you order coffee and within a day or two, I'll show up with it, and you don't even have to say hi. It's just here's a bag of coffee.
That's amazing, safe, and you just leave it on your doorstep or in your mailbox, and
yeah.
Done deal. That's amazing right now. I've heard of different CSAs. I've heard of grocery delivery. I have yet to hear of a coffee delivery service. And from what I'm hearing, your coffee is pretty good coffee.
I have been told that, yes.
You got the beans.
You got the beans. And who's that guy? Who's the big guy? Is that a rescue bird?
This is Joey. He is a 15-year-old cockatiel, and he's a rescue from. There's a local parrot rescue in Pittsburgh called Pearl, and we do a lot of work with them. We try to support local and national organizations like Pearl, as well as National Aviary, Humane Animal Rescue, and a handful of others. And so it's cool to work with like those different tiers. So Pearl, in our work with them, knew my one weakness and tricked me into adopting one of their birds. So
that's amazing. So you're a bird-friendly coffee. Can you just, for our viewers that aren't familiar, just give us a quick drop down of what makes a coffee bird-friendly?
So I usually have the full certification on me generally, because it's very specific, sometimes to its detriment, but basically it just defines for farms, this is the amount of local floor, you have like this elevation, and so on, and you're allowed to strategically. It basically comes down to a very large amount of land management. So like you can deforest to this extent, but not more than this here, etc. You have to have like, basically it defines a specific kind of ecosystem that needs to exist for you to receive the certification. It's probably the strictest coffee certification out there.
And who in America gives us certification? Is it state by state? Is it national?
The certification is fully administered by the Smithsonian, more specifically the Smithsonian Migratory Bird Center, based out of DC.
And you have that certification from them?
So yeah, we're a certified roaster. They certify farms, distributors, and roasters. And those get easier as you go, just because obviously you want to make the farm situation the strictest. But also certify all of those tiers in the supply chain, so you have that like traceability and accountability. So,
I have a regular like a layman question. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a giant coffee drinker. My wife loves coffee. Everybody I know loves coffee. I'm not really. I kind of get. You don't want to see me on caffeine is basically what it is. So with your delivery service, right? Is it the whole beans that you're delivering, or do you guys grind them and drop it off, or do you assume that people would have their own grinder?
So historically, we a long time ago we took the option for like grinding coffee off of our website, just because we have a speech we give to people about like how there's such a substantial difference in grinding it as you need it versus grind a whole bag, etc. And so generally we prefer not to grind the coffee for you. That said,
Gotcha.
Given circumstances, if people shoot me an email with their order number, I've been known to do it, just because I don't want people going out to the grocery store to grind coffee right now.
No.
Great. And a question for you. One last question here for you, and this is another thing. I'm a novice. What is the grinder of choice for someone to buy a grinder at home?
Yeah.
So this is hard because they can get really expensive really fast, and I hesitate to recommend the one I use, because that's not how you convince people to grind their own coffee.
Come on.
On the low end, OXO makes, just like, you can get it for like $50, like refurbished sometimes, like the OXO Brew, I believe it's called. And that's the cheapest one I recommend. The most important thing is it's a burr grinder, because that actually pulverizes the beans versus just chopping them like a blade grinder. That said, any grinder is better than no grinder. So if you get a $2 blade grinder and it gets you into the habit of actually preparing your coffee that way, you're already way ahead of it.
So
All right.
Pat is a novice. I'm a snob, and you're an expert. So that's the coffee hierarchy, right, Matt?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So just because we're going to wrap this up and send you on your way so you can keep roasting, but give us the dream roaster right now, the dream grinder right now. I want to hear.
The Rolls Royce of.
Yeah, come on, hit me with this shit, dude.
I mean, the one I have is probably the nicest one I would consider for like home use, and that's the Baratza Virtuoso Plus.
It sounds sexy.
Yeah.
Baratza Virtuoso Plus.
It just came out recently. It's super cool. It's almost $300. But you know, I always tell people the grinder is the single most important part of your entire coffee setup. Everything else is very secondary. So.
Wow.
Well, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Redstart Roasters.
And thank you for being inventive enough to kit this out and giving people in the city limits free delivery on the coffee. I will be buying some coffee from you tonight.
Awesome.
To have that delivered here. And it's small amounts. There's only one drinker in the house, and my daughter's not even 2 yet, and she doesn't need caffeine at all. But Lex,
Matt, thanks.
Else?
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right,
we're gonna bring Matt out, and we're gonna do the host banter, my friend.
But real quick, before we do, RedStarRoasters.com, get your coffee delivered. Do not wait in those lines at the grocery store.
Yeah, free coffee delivery in the city of Pittsburgh. If you have a city of Pittsburgh zip code, you get free delivery of this coffee, and I've had it, and it's really good. So, Pat, besides asking people to smash our Venmo and talking about polls, and we're at the end of the show. What are we missing?
We're missing the winner of the mini jagoff, the Lil Jagoff.
Little
The Lil Jagoff, as I like to call it. Lex, no, you are not the little jagoff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So anyway, we have the little jagoff, the in-show promotion where we had a face-off of Century 3 Mall versus the waterfront.
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe. Oh wait, there are votes for the waterfront. The waterfront made some.
Daddy's gonna put on his glasses.
Are we gonna cap? Are we gonna cap it? Are we gonna say you've got 30? You've got 30 seconds, or is it done? Is it over?
Well, so we're gonna give people a last call. I'm gonna refresh the browser in about a minute, and
you've got 60 seconds now.
You got 60 seconds. Get those votes in.
You can vote. You can actually vote on Twitter
30
and on
seconds.
the site. And
30
you
seconds.
You can vote in multiple
Dave,
ways.
can we do a countdown?
If you want to do this. So we don't need a countdown. Don't worry about Dave. Dave is in his mind right now doing it. Anyway, we've got a killer show lined up tomorrow too.
Who do we got? Who's
starting
confirmed?
at 7? Oh, dude, it's a surprise. Pete, talk to me. Who's confirmed?
Oh, so is that what you're saying? Let me bring out the spreadsheet here. I use spreadsheets now. I've never used spreadsheets before. We have Sean Collier.
Collier. I'm so psyched. I'm so psyched. You can't even get my name. Hey, have you ever been to Blanc or maybe North
Versailles? Have you been to North Versailles?
Yeah. How about McKee's Row? Yeah.
You know, I love living in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, go on. Who else?
Wilkinsboro.
Who else is on the show?
Yeah.
We have Liana Maniz is going to come on the show. Katie Bowie's going to come on and talk about some accounting, which I think will be really good.
Yeah, dude. We're gonna she's gonna be on for a half hour.
We're
gonna do my taxes live, right, Katie? Right, Katie?
I think she's going to talk a lot about tax breaks and ways artists can get benefits right now, and different ways of applying.
The breaks.
Dave is sending a message from the mine. These guys don't feed me.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're at the end of the poll. Let's do it.
It's done. It's done. He's so
Dave, you should come in. You should come in as I
come in. The end of the show.
Show your ribs.
Over. Let's go.
Ooh. Do you guys want to know where we're at?
No, I don't care. Bring
it's
it
got to
up.
be done, right? He's doing the math. Okay, so he's having to add up the multiple ways of doing this. Oh, here he is, Dave.
Everything's fine.
Okay.
Everything's fine.
Dave, I just sent you the link.
Talk to me, Dave.
Post it.
Talk to me, Dave, because the audience, I know they're dying to hear us banter some more.
Hey, check this out. Dave, this is from my lesson last night in the Irish dialect. You ready? Ready? Dave, did you skip your supper?
That's good. You turned it around, Lex. It started out like you were doing a little Liverpool thing, and then it became straight up Cork.
Dave needs one of those new fucking tacos from that food truck.
All right. So anyway, Dave, give me the answer.
All right.
There was a comeback.
Pete, did you send me the thing? Oh,
I sent it to you. I'm right here.
I have a blank message.
I'm glad nobody's fucking life depends upon it.
Come on.
I got nothing. You sent me nothing here.
Okay. So I tell you what, I'm going to figure this out.
I sent it to you.
No, let's just
let
these guys squirm, dude, Pat. Let's let these guys
step into my office.
Right. So we've had a total of 13 votes. 77% of the votes have gone to the currently defunct Century 3 Mall.
Yes, the winner.
So Century 3 Mall won.
Amazing.
Century 3 won. Yes.
What was filmed there? Anything? Movies?
My Own Private Idaho, the deleted scene.
That's good. Okay, good. Just checking. All right. So
Pizza Friends. That was filmed there.
Would you know what? Do you know what else is something? There was a jingle that people used to know in Pittsburgh, like they would know nothing else. They knew about a few places like the Pittsburgh Diesel Institute. They're in the book. Give them a call. But what they knew was Century 3 Chevrolet was Lebanon Church Road, Pittsburgh, and minutes from the mall.
Yeah. True.
There's also a local band right now called Century 3. Carrie Battle.
And we've got Smiley Cookies from Eaton Park.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, talk about it. And then we'll wrap this up and play the outro and tell everybody 7:00 tomorrow.
Well,
wait a minute. Don't we have the vote for tomorrow? Don't we have the big dog? The what we're voting on, the 24-hour announcement?
That's what you're looking at.
There's
So
a dog. There's a
so
dog. back
Dave,
there.
get rid of Pete. Come back and tell us what this is, Dave. I know it. I know what it is. It looks to me like are those smiley cookies? And is that a burnt almond tort?
That's right. Guys, this is painful.
Lex, stop talking.
I'm not talking. I'm meowing.
That's it. The cookies are screaming. The showdown. It is. It's treacherous. It's tearing me apart. We're talking about Prantle's burnt almond tort. Was when I was driving for Wheel Deliver. We called it the BAT, the BAT, the burnt almond tort, baby. Versus Eden Park's only smiley face cookie.
Wow,
Two
the
sweets.
smiley cookies.
How do you pick? Pittsburgh, this is torture, but happy torture. Have at it.
They're saying the
do it.
smiley cookie.
Versus
Eaton Park's smiley cookie versus Shady Side's own Prantle's burnt almond tort. Voting begins when, Dave?
Right now. That's right.
Boom.
On our Twitter, which is at Together PGH Live. It's on our Facebook page. You know what it is, Facebook/Together PGH. And also look on our website for the links. It'll be all over the place. So listen, this is a big dog fight, and it's gonna get crazy. And we want you to sink your teeth into it.
I tell you what, this is a big one. This is a big one. This is
a big one.
This is
We're
big.
getting real.
I thought last night's was big. I thought
It just keeps getting more real.
On the Dead, but this is it. I mean, this there could be fighting. Hopefully online fighting, not in person fighting.
Happy fighting.
Happy fighting. I tell you what, a fight has never been so delicious. So, so I'm gonna sign off with that one.
And I'm gonna
tomorrow 7:00.
And I'm gonna sign off by saying thank you to Amanda Blair. She is eating a burnt almond tort right now, and I think that's such synchronicity, as they say, believers of the living in a simulation. So, Pat, I'll see you tomorrow, brother.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow, 7:00. Everyone, join in, tell your friends about us, share it, do all that kind of shit, and thank you. Be safe. Social distance. Wash your hands.